Welcome back to my channel. This is Stoney, and I really appreciate you coming by today and checking this video out. Now, last year I made a video showing you how to properly sharpen your chainsaw chain by using the Stihl 2-in-1 chainsaw chain sharpener. Now, if you haven't seen that video and your chain's dull, click on the link above my finger, but make sure you come back to this video. Now, recently I've been getting a lot of comments on my email on how I change my chain and properly tension it. So that's what this video is going to be all about. No fluff, no stuff, just showing you how to do those two things because a sharp chain and a properly tensioned chain is a safe chain. Let's start. Now this video is going to cover most of your Stihl chainsaws, and it could apply to other chainsaw manufacturers out there. Now I have an MS 311 right here and an MS 194T. Both great chainsaws. I love using them and they're perfect for my property. Now I mostly use my 194T because it's one-handed and a lot lighter, and this bar length is perfect for most of my cutting around my property. 311, still a good chainsaw. I just like this guy. Now both get their chains replaced and tensions pretty much the exact same way. This style has bar nuts on both the 311 and on the 194. There are other styles out there where there's a locking ring right here with a tensioner that you can tension or untension the chain like this. Now, after repeated sharpening of your chains and after a lot of use, your chains are going to get loose, and they're going to get loose to the point where you can no longer safely tension the chain. And that's where we have to replace it. Now these chains don't need to be replaced. They're actually really good. I just sharpened them, but I have to, correct the tension on them. And I want to clean these out too, so this is the perfect time to show you this. Now for this 311 right here, this chain is pretty much properly tensioned because it snaps back into place on the bottom of the bar. Now on my 194T though, as you see, this has a lot of use on it, and the chain is not springing back into the bottom of the bar. That's a clear indicator that your chain needs to be retensioned. We'll work on the 194T real quick. First thing you want to do, I always take my chain brake off. Now the chain can spin freely. And then I loosen my tensioner all the way up. And then I loosen my bar nut. Now you could do the bar nut first or the tensioner. And then for the 194, the bar nut stays in place. You kind of lift it on its side like this, and then you can lift up this cover and place it off to the side. Now you have your chain and your bar kind of hanging out just like that. Now to get the chain and the bar off of the 194, it's kind of difficult. This stays in place right here. That's where the sprocket is. But you want to kind of loosen your bar by pushing it forward. Then you could pop the chain off. You can get the bar out of the way, and you can move the chain out of it like so. That's how you get the chain out. Now let's take a brush, a fine tip screwdriver, and we'll clean all this out and the bar, making sure it's clean. Cleaning the bar is really easy. I just take a piece of paper like this, I slide it into the groove where the chain goes, and then you could push out any material that's stuck in the chain right out the back side, like that. Now the oiler is really important to make sure that that port stays clean, and that's this right inside of here, and it lines up with a hole that's right here on your inside of your bar. So what I like to do is I like to take just some spray can air right here, and I just spray this all down, and it opens that hole right up. You don't need perfection, but you want to make sure that that port is clean, and then I just take a rag and wipe it down, and then you're good to go. Now for in here, you can take a screwdriver like what I have right here and just kind of clean up all the places where you got gunk hanging out. Again, make sure the oiler is clean and we're going to use our spray can of air to make sure nothing's inside of there. Also do the same thing to your cover here. Get all that gunk out of there with a screwdriver or a brush. Once everything's cleaned up, now we can install the new chain onto our bar. Now, it can be a puzzle to unravel this from the packaging. I'm not good at that. There might be a trick online somewhere, but the orientation is very important for your new chain. You want to have the guides on the inside, and you want to have your teeth on the outside going all the way around. Now, do the teeth point away from you or towards you? That is going to always be away from you. And to confirm that, you check the picture down here. It shows the teeth are pointing away from you. Now, to put on the chain to a 194T, it can be a struggle. The best way to do it is take your chain first, put it down like this, and have it go behind this wheel onto your sprocket. Now, once it's on your sprocket, you can pull it tight like this. Now take your bar, you're going to shove that in like this, and as you're doing that, you're going to want to set it on the front sprocket here of your bar. Now once you get that, try and get your chain to lie inside of that slot, just like that. Confirm you're on the back sprocket, you're on the front sprocket, the chain is in place. Now we can lay it back onto its side like this. Take our cover. There's a little hole where your handle goes into. And then slide this over. Put it on top like that. Now flip it back onto its rightful side like this. Take your nut, and all you want to do is just tighten it hand tight at this point like that. Now, here's where the proper tensioning comes into play. You want to always grab the tip of your chainsaw bar, and as you can see, the chainsaw bar moves up and down about a ½ inch. Now, it can go more or it can be less than this as well. As you're cutting, it forces the chainsaw bar up, thus putting more tension on your chain. So as you're holding the chain bar up, you want to take your tensioner screw and you're going to go clockwise with it until the chain touches the bottom of the bar. Once that's done, take your driver here and tighten down that nut, all while holding the tip of your chainsaw blade bar up. Now, your brakes should be off, and you could freely move this forward, and it glides really nice and easy. And to check your tension, you should be able to take your chainsaw chain and go like this. It should snap back into place like that every single time. That's a properly tensioned chain on a 194T. Now let's show you on the 311. Now the MS311, same principles, much easier to change. So you can take your bar nuts, loosen those up, and then take your chain tensioner, and you want to loosen your chain tensioner all the way up, like that, counterclockwise. Now you can take your nuts, take them all the way off. These will come off. Take your cover off. Now your chain easily pops out like that. Boom, you're done. Now go ahead and clean your chain bar and your insides here and make sure that your oiler is free of any debris. Now get your new chain out. Make sure again the guides are on the inside. Your teeth are facing away from you on the top. Put it on your bar like this. It's easier to stand it upright and go like this with it. Let the chain come down and sit inside of those slots on the top and on the bottom. Pull it tight. And then go ahead and set it on your sprocket in the back and on your guides right there in the front, just like that. Now make sure your chain is in the bottom slot right here on the top slot. Now we can take our cover and put our cover back on like this. Take your nuts. Just hand tighten those down like that. Take your bar, lift it up on the tip here, and take your tensioner and tighten it clockwise until the chain is resting on the bottom of your bar, like that. Keep the tip up. Take your tool right here and tighten down your bar nuts, nice and tight. Now we'll verify that the chain can move freely. It can, and it should snap back into place on the bottom of the bar. That's a properly adjusted chain. And that's how you properly change the chain and adjust the tension on two separate chainsaws that Stihl makes. I want to thank you for watching the video. I do hope it helped you. Please leave me a comment if you have any questions, concerns. I answer everything that people write to me, and I really do take pride in that. Also, leave a thumbs up, and if you can, subscribe. It goes a long way, and it really does help my channel out a lot. Until the next video, thanks for watching, and take it easy.